guys, it's time for our writing lesson today. You are not rolling a story today. You should have 3 stories to choose from. We wrote one on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with our roll a story. The roll a story pages that we had. Remember, you picked a page and you rolled the dice and you made your story. So choose one of those that you want to use today. So I'll give you a second to kind of choose which story you wanted. In my book, I have mine written out, but I also wrote it up here on my board so I can show you how we're going to go back and edit our story. Now, as the week went on, and I heard some of you tell me this too, as you were making your story, you would think about something you wanted to go back and add. Like one of my parents said that their student loved this idea. They kept making up stories because they loved to roll the dice and see where the story was going to take them. So my first story on Monday was a happy zombie who lost all his money while he was in jail. And at first I kind of laughed and I didn't think I'd like that story, but then I started really diving into that story when I was thinking about going back and editing. And I was trying to do each story and figure out what I wanted. And so I decided on this story for today. So what we're doing mainly with our editing is today we're going to use our editor's checklist and we're just going to check our writing. We're just checking our writing, that's all we're doing. So this one says, my sentences start with a capital letter. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to underline all the capital letters where my sentences start. Okay, so I'm going to check to see, and I ran out of space here at the end, so sorry, it's a little bit congested, but so I looked. And I did start all of my sentences with capital letters. If you get to one and you realize, oh, I don't have a capital letter, this is the day you're going to erase it and fix it. So let's say that this letter that I wrote here was like this, was just a little letter. So I would then erase it and make it a capital letter so that I could, I would make sure that I made it capitalized. So right now, go back through your paper, your writing, and check that all of the capital letters that start a sentence, not capital letters just in a sentence, capital letters that start the sentence. The first word in every sentence is capitalized. So that's what we're checking right now. So if they're not, like I went through, I underlined mine just so I could see where they were. I'm not going to leave those lines. That was me showing you where all my capital letters were. So I'm going to take those off. All of mine are capital. If yours is not, now's the time to fix it. Because today we're just checking all of our work. We're just doing the editing. Tomorrow we will publish, and I'll show you a really cool way to publish your story tomorrow. So it says, the word I is always capitalized. Well, I don't really have a lot of I's in my story because we're talking about a happy zombie. I's by themselves, not I in the middle of the word. So an I in a word, I'm not going to capitalize it. If it's completely by itself, like the word I, then yes, I would capitalize it. Or, for example, here, my word is inside. That one is capitalized because it's the first letter of the first word of the sentence. So we've got those. Check, check. Now it says, my sentence ends with a punctuation mark. It can be a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. So I'm going to check. All right, one night a happy zombie lost all his money in jail. Yep, I've got a period there. I'm good. He got into trouble fighting a villager. There's my period. Steve and Alex put him in jail. There's my period. He was sad. Period. He promised never to do that again. Period. On his way home, he found a chest. Period. Inside was an emerald. Period. The zombie was happy again. I got a period. I think I want to make it an exclamation point. He was happy again. The end. So that's my story. I've checked my punctuation, and like you may read your story and go, I don't like that as a period. I want to change it. Maybe you ask a question in your story. That could work too. So like I changed mine. Mine was a period, and I was like, I want to make it more emphasizing. I want to really emphasize, he was happy again. That was my exclamation point. The end. And I might, you could even make the end have an exclamation point. Up to you. It doesn't really matter. But I want you to double check that every single sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a punctuation mark, period, exclamation point, or a question mark. So make sure that those have those punctuation marks. The next part of our editing says, I use spaces between my words. Now, this one's a toughie. If you look up here, you can see that I use spaces. And you have a spacer in your bag with your writing supplies, your reading supplies. And so I can actually physically go back and check my spaces. Well, what happens, like down here, some of my spaces got a little small, didn't they? What happens if I need to change my space? I just move it over. So like I can move this A over just a little bit to give me plenty of space so that you can see that space. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. What we don't want, I'm going to show you this one. So if I said Steve and Alex, I wouldn't want my words to look like this. Because that looks like Steve and Alex, like one word, instead of what we had, which was Steve, space, and Alex. You want spaces. Because when you write your words way close together like that, it's hard to know it's hard when you're reading or someone else is reading your story. Like I would have read all that one big long word, Steve and Alex, instead of Steve and Alex. Or if you put lost all close together, it would look like lost all instead of lost all. So spaces are important because it also helps us to know when an idea ends and a new one begins. So spaces behind your periods are important too, not just your words. Your period, your punctuation, those are important too because sometimes it's difficult to see. Like right here, I got really crunched for space. And so you can't really see that there's a space there. So I'm going to make one now because I'm editing. So there's a space now. On his way home, he found a chest. Inside was an emerald. So part of our editing, part of going back through your writing, you don't ever just write something and you're done. And it's finished. Finito. You're done. Our ideas grow every single day. So yes, you may write this story. In 2 or 3 weeks, this story may pop back in your brain and you may have another part to write about it. That is the most amazing thing about writing, is that we don't have to be stuck in this one little thing, this little box, and say, okay, I've done my opinion writing. Check, I'm done for the day. No, you can write all the time. You don't have to write it all at one time. You can write over a course of several days. Remember our opinion writing last week? We started with 1 sentence each day. That's fine. If you just want to keep adding to your story, that is okay. Writing is never really done. We may publish something, and you can tell it to any author out there. They will publish a book, and they'll come back later and say, I really wish I'd added this to my book. Because their ideas don't just stop. They don't stop growing. They continue. Some writers, like Mo Willems, actually made series of books, like the Pigeon books, Gerald and Piggy. All those books that he made were his ideas. So he didn't just stop with one book. He wrote several. That's the same thing with our writing. You can write as much as you want. It doesn't have to be just stopped for one day. So now, I got off my little soapbox there. I'm really, really passionate about writing. And I want you to be passionate about how smart you are and how you have ideas to share with the world. You may be the next great inventor. That's something I'm really passionate about, is sometimes we don't give students enough credit that their ideas may not seem like something now, but 10 years down the road, they're going to be amazing. So we need to make sure that we have an open mind. You never know what your idea is going to grow into. So now that I'm off my soapbox, we're going to go back to checking the editor's checklist. We've checked for spaces. Now we're going to check that I spell words I know correctly. These are sight words. a, he, in, his, all, into, got, and, him, was, remember that's a pop, stock, and lock word, to, do, the, all of those sight words, went, little, look, play, all those words that we have been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Those are the words that I'm looking to see if you spelled correctly. The reason is, those are those sight words, that there's common words you see all the time. Like, and is one, A-N-D. Was, that's another one, W-A-S. The, T-H-E. Those words need to be spelled correctly. One, you know how to read them and write them, and those are words that you know for sure you know. Two, if I know all those little words are spelled correctly, I can take more time on words like zombie or promised, fighting, trouble, money, again. I can take my time and start working on words I don't know, and I can circle them if I don't know how to spell them. And remember, we said that was okay. As long as I'm using my big, beautiful brain to sound these words out and to really try to figure these words out, I will accept anything that you give me as long as I can see your effort behind it. So don't worry about, oh, well, I don't know how to spell everything correctly. That's okay. Neither do I. I may have spelled some words wrong up here, and that's okay. I'm just giving my best effort. Then it says, the last page, the last one says, I spelled new words by thinking about how they sound. So, sorry, so you can see that one. I spell new words by thinking about how they sound. That's what I'm talking about. Once you've checked all of your work, you're ready to publish it tomorrow. So today, don't write anything new unless you just really want to add something to your story. Double check all of your editing checklist so that you can be ready tomorrow when I show you how to publish your story. I have a new way to publish your story tomorrow, and I cannot wait to see it, because I want you to be authors. You are the author of this story. You created this story. So take your time today, check through everything on the checklist, check your sentences to start with capital letters, check the word I is spelled with a capital letter, sentences start with the end with a punctuation mark, you use spaces, you spell words that you know correctly, and then you checked words that you didn't know, you used your brain to sound out and spell those words. That is all you have to do today for writing. And then tomorrow we'll get together and talk about publishing. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in a few minutes for math.